legislature has the votes to necessarily override Chris Christie. So it seems like the courts or the referendum, I'm a little less optimistic that Chris Christie will be changing the mind anytime soon.
Well, yeah, Christie just denounced forcefully the DOMA ruling this week.
He denounced forcefully the DOMA ruling, although he did invite a referendum. Now, I don't think he telegraphed which position he would take on a referendum, if any.
Well, he said he'd be against it. But it's interesting to watch the polling in New Jersey on it, though, too, because it's a progressive state. Like I said, I think it's a state. You look at like Maine last year, where these things started passing in some blue states last year. I think it would pass in New Jersey if they put it on the ballot.
But I think also New Jersey, if the Supreme Court of New Jersey said you have to have something equivalent to marriage, and civil unions may be that. Now, clearly, civil unions is not equivalent to marriage because it doesn't come under the aegis of the Supreme Court decision, and you don't get federal benefits. So I think you go to court in New Jersey, you probably knock that out pretty rapidly.
Jerry is exactly right. Here's what's going to happen next in these cases, that in all of these states, all the purple states for sure, but even in some of the red states, plaintiffs, real people who want to get married, are going to take this Supreme Court decision in the Windsor case, in the DOMA case, not in the Prop 8 case, but in the Windsor case, and they're going to go into state court, and they're going to say, here is this decision from the U.S. Supreme Court which says the United States Constitution guarantees that I have a right to be treated equally. Now, if you have a state marriage statute, but I think that decision is so powerful rhetorically, but I mean it's powerful. It has a legal precedent. It sets out this kind of new standard that Jerry talked about, this sort of blended equal protection, due process, federalism, blend, sort of a new kind of very Kennedy-esque approach to this. But I think a lot of people are going to be able to take this precedent and go into state court, and going to get state courts and state Supreme Courts in all places in this country, and going to get these state constitutional.
The other issue, though, the other issue at the state level, and Pat, I want to ask you about this because I saw Ralph Reed, the Christian conservative activist, after the rulings this week, he said, yes, it's a win for the gay rights movement, but he said he likened it to the Equal Rights Amendment. And he said, in the Equal Rights Amendment, you had some states that were willing to ratify, and then it just stalled. And he said, look at that map, and he said, the same thing is going to happen with gay marriage. There are a large number of states that will just never accept this. When you hear that comparison, what do you think?
Well, what he's thinking is he's going to raise a whole lot of money. No, don't you think? I mean, that's exactly. He's thinking, whoa, this is great, because we saw the Equal Rights Amendment do the same thing. But I honestly think it's different, because I think the young people and a lot of people my age, I mean, they're just not there. And so good luck, Ralph. I just can't believe that that's really going to happen. Maybe in the South. I mean, he's going to win. It's going to be very tough in the South. And I still don't know why we can't push full faith and credit a whole lot harder and say,
Well, and there's an issue. Well, there's when it comes back to the Supreme Court, then Ruth Bader Ginsburg has made some very interesting public comments about where she thinks the balance between public opinion, where the court is, and I want to just play that and talk about it after this. What do you make of that, Amanda? I mean, a lot of people have connected that to the gay marriage question, and they've said the same thing we're on course for the same thing to happen with gay marriage, where it will become, we're moving so fast, and it will become like abortion, where we'll reach a level of public opinion where the acceptance will peak here, and that'll be that.
I think is this like abortion and Roe v. Wade, or is this more like interracial marriage and Loving v. Virginia? The court said that interracial marriage, go ahead. People today have no problem, for the most part, with few people, I suppose, have no problem with interracial marriage. Whereas abortion, it is not becoming more and more popular like it once was. I mean, I understand where she's coming from. I'm not quite sure if same-sex marriage is there. I mean, it seems, especially with younger people, it's more and more popular, especially as more younger people know people who are gay, more people are out of the closet now. So, and it's simply, like with interracial couples, they see them, they know them, they're fine with them. Abortion, I think there are still many more people who don't know people who have had an abortion. It's not an issue that is in front of people every day. So I see where she's coming from. I'm not sure, though, if it's exactly the same.
I think it's exactly different. I think Loving is the proper example. When the Supreme Court came down with Loving, 27% of Americans approved of interracial marriage.
And this was in 1967.
1967. The difference is, so it was even worse from that point of view. The difference is, and there are two reasons I think why opinion is shifting so rapidly. Number one, young people. Young people, even Republicans, conservatives, have no problem. They don't understand what the issue is.
Right.
So that tells you where the issue is going inexorably. And second of all, unlike with abortion, if people think a fetus from the time of conception is a person, they have that opinion for religious reasons, for whatever reasons, you're not going to move that for those people who firmly believe that. With gay marriage, when people see that people marry and nothing else changes, there's no harm. You know, we've had gay marriage now in Massachusetts for 9 years. Nothing happened. All the different predictions of doom, nothing happens. It's going to become very accepted.
Pat, we only have a few seconds, but your first year in Congress was the year Roe v. Wade happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really feel one of the problems we've had is that they've been able to define it only about the fetus, and no one ever looks at the mother. We are terrible on safe motherhood issues. I mean, people who are watching this wonderful PBS show, Downton Abbey, learn about preeclampsia. You know, people are dying of preeclampsia in America. We don't know that because they've made this whole myth that this is just about selfish women wanting to wear a prom dress or something and they decide to get rid of the baby. So the media on it has been really awful, and the progressives have never been able to once again gain it. Whereas when you're talking about gay marriage, you're talking about two individuals and people who want to support each other. And I think a lot of people think that's a very good value in our system.
All right, so what should we know today? My answers are after this. Now, what my guests think we should know, let's start with Amanda Turkle.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce had a great term with the Supreme Court. It intervened, or it took positions and filed briefs in 18 cases, and it lost in just 3 of those. So the Roberts Court is continuing to take a very pro-corporate tilt.
All right, Congressman?
Well, what we do know is that we still have to pass the Respect for Marriage Act in Congress so that people who are married legally in New York, where it's legal, will get federal benefits wherever they live in the country, not just in marriage recognizing states. And what we should know by the end of the week is whether Secretary of State Kerry, who has extended his trip in the Middle East, he's in the Middle East to try to get peace talks going again between the Israelis and the Arabs. Most people didn't think much of his chances, but he's extended the trip. He's canceled trips to other countries. We'll know by the end of the week whether that he may be successful or not.
All right, Pat?
Part of my childhood, I lived in Dallas, Texas, and every morning in school we had to get up and sing "The Eyes of Texas Are Upon You." So this week, my eyes are going to be upon Texas because I am really Wendy Davis and that tremendous, I'm hoping it's a rebirth of the progressivism that we loved with Ann Richards and so many in the past. And I'm really hoping that something wonderful can happen.
They really made you sing that song.
They really did. I didn't even know there was a Star-Spangled Banner when we moved to Ohio.
The Republic of Texas. Richard?
The return of progressive politics to Texas is pretty great. But I think that several big polling firms are going to poll on the issue of whether or not Americans approve of the approach that the Supreme Court has taken to same-sex marriage. And I think you're going to see overwhelming support from Americans everywhere for the approach the court took. And I think rather than decelerate the progress, I think the approach the court has taken, you're going to see an acceleration of the progress towards approval of the idea that gay and lesbian Americans are entitled to full equal rights across the board. And you're going to start to see that next week in the results of these polls.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. We had that discussion before. I see it as loving more than Roe, too. My little 2 cents. Anyway, I want to thank Amanda Turkle of the Huffington Post, New York Congressman Jerry Nadler, former Congresswoman Pat Schroeder, and Richard Socrates, former senior advisor to President Clinton. Thanks for getting up.